So today's message is for the woman who has been through too much. And if you are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever age you're at, you have had experiences, sis, and you are at the point where you're saying, wow, I am the strong one, or I am tired of being strong, or when is it going to ease up? So welcome back to this conversation. This is going to be our third conversation along this series, and I think this conversation is going to be somewhat of a tender conversation for us. Because if you've ever had to go through pain, if you've ever been the strong one, the encourager, the go-to person, but you're barely holding it together, you would know how difficult it is to be there for everyone when you truly just need to be there for yourself. And if you know that, then this is the message for you. So take a deep breath in and let's dive straight into this conversation. I am very transparent as I conduct my interactions with you because I believe that as women, our stories are not for us. Our stories are for the benefit of those that we mentor. Titus 2 calls for the eldest to mentor the younger. And so my stories are always designed with that element in mind, giving people the lessons from those experiences so that they can avoid those same painful challenges that I had. But I remember a season in my life when everything looked fine on the outside. If you were outside looking at me, you would see me rocking and rolling. You would see me showing up to meetings, showing up to events. You would see me serving and still smiling. But you would have no idea that on the inside, I was shattered. I was broken. I was hurting. I was painful because pretty smiles can hide some really dark things. But I've experienced a lot of loss in my life. I've experienced a lot of disappointment. I've experienced betrayal. And quite frankly, I hardly ever gave myself time to process those situations. I would get out of one betrayal and just keep it moving, keep it moving. I would get out of a situation where I may have experienced a loss of something and just keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it going. Because who has time to pause and to sit down and to really process what has happened? And so in one season of my life, loss was just so constant. I vividly remember when I lost my mom. It was such an unexpected experience. I remember going into the ambulance. I remember taking that ride with her. I remember, um, asking her if everything is going to be okay. And that was a Tuesday. And then Thursday morning, my mom was dead unexpectedly, out of the blue. And that was a loss, a real hard loss. That if I were to be 100% with you today, I will tell you that that is a loss that I am still processing. And we are 8 years out from her passing. And so after I lost my mom, I also resigned from my job. And that's a loss. Even though I made the decision for that separation, that was still a loss. I lost the interaction with my coworkers. I lost that financial stability. I lost, a particular routine. But still not pausing. Just, I gotta get it going now since I'm responsible for my own cheese. And then I came into empty nest syndrome. And as much as you try to prepare for when your nest gets empty, you don't know it until you really feel it. And so I experienced the loss of both of my children, moving out from home. And, I love getting up and making breakfast or cooking, or I love community. And so having an empty house is me and my husband. And so, that was a loss that I had to process. We raise our children to release them. Our goal as parents is to release our kids. And so we have to train them in a way that allows them to function in their lives once they're ready to take their wings and fly. So when my son went to college, my daughter moved into her own place after college. It was a real struggle, especially since I was so accustomed to having my granddaughter around, and it was such a joy. And so that emptiness was another period of loss. And then, of course, there are other challenges in life that we have to navigate. But I will tell you that in each of those situations, I kept it moving. I just kept it moving because that's what women are expected to do. We're expected to be resilient without feelings. We're expected to just pick up and move it along because we're strong. And particularly those of us that have that title, Strong One, we show up for everyone else except ourselves. Everybody else comes to us for advice. This is what happened. What do I do? How do I this? And we pour and we give and we support and we help each other along. And this is what happens when we have that strong one. This is so powerful. That strength without softness becomes a prison. I want to repeat that. If you're listening now, if you're listening on the replay, I want you to type that in chat. Strength without softness becomes a prison. And eventually, I got tired of pretending that I was okay. I mean, I'll just tell you that I came into the real fullness of how tired I was when I was diagnosed with exhaustion last year. And I had 2 months off, and I had the opportunity to really think about how did I get to the place of exhaustion. And all of those things that I just described to you were parts of that story. Not taking the time to really process my emotions, not taking the time to identify what was I truly feeling. Was I hurt? Was I angry? Letting those emotions come to the surface and being okay, understanding that that's a part of the grieving process. That's a part of the releasing process. Just being okay. I felt guilty about sitting still and doing nothing. And so because of that, I wasn't getting proper rest. But what I found out after my diagnosis of exhaustion last year was that I didn't want to be strong anymore. I didn't just want to be the strong one. I wanted to be the whole one. I wanted to be a whole person. And being a whole person meant that I had to pay attention to every aspect of my life: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. I had to own what was happening in my life and process them. Now, here's the thing: you may have heard me in the past talk about healing and trauma and all that sort of stuff and how to deal with your emotions. But here's the thing: healing is never one and done. Like, it is a continuous process. We may heal a particular situation and something may trigger that 3 years later. We have to re-heal that. And so being whole means that we are steadily in evolution. We are always evolving. We're always growing. We may be revisiting old wounds, but we're not staying there because we've already healed. And when we revisit, we grab that healing again and we move forward. So let me ask you this question: have you been carrying pain that nobody sees? Like, when people look at you, they're not able to determine that you're in pain. They don't see it. Like, who really sees you? Outside of the mask that you put on, the pretense of being okay, who's taking the time to really see you? You know, the other day I read a post on social media from a person that I know, and she talked about the fact that people don't see her as a person, they see her as a resource. And so very few people check on her to really ask her how she's doing, what's going on in her life. And that hit me so hard because people are self-centered. People are only concerned about what's in it for them. That thinking about the next person isn't a natural step for many people. And so the people who call you strong, but you secretly wish that they would ask you how you're doing, how things are with you, if you need help, if you're okay. Comment and let me know. Just, put a yes in chat, or let me know. And then also let me know if you've been carrying grief, but not really acknowledging it because you don't want to be seen as weak, or you're concerned about whether people will say, oh, well, that person died 10 years ago. You're still holding on to that. Are you hiding and are you masking your emotions and your grief? Because that's unhealthy. If you're tired of pretending to be fine, type a yes in chat. Don't worry about what nobody would say, because guess what? Acknowledgement is the first step. We have to know where we are, then we could determine where we want to go. And I want you to know that you are allowed to heal. You are allowed to, you are deserving of a pause, a rejuvenation, to heal. You deserve to stop being the helper and start being helped. Yes, I said it. Us strong ones have a challenge with people helping us, but you deserve that. You deserve to stop and allow people to truly help you. I serve women in the cancer community. And one of the things that I noticed is that even after surgery, they want to do what they term normal. They want to reach up to get things out the cupboard. They want to mop the floor. They want to use their arms. You've just had major surgery to have your breast removed. But there is this pressure to be, and I put this in quotations, normal. Sis, even when you are recuperating and recovering, you are a normal being, because that recuperation, that recovering, that means that it's time for a pause, and it's time to be taken care of. It's okay to be normal and to need help, and we have to adjust our mindset about what that truly means. And so I want to invite you, if any of this resonated with you, I want to invite you to the Restore Her retreat, because it is a safe space where you can exhale. It's not just a getaway, it's a place where you could fall apart if you need to. And you won't be judged for it, because there'll be other women in that space who are doing exactly the same time, who perhaps for the first time in a very long time are going to be able to release and just be. You'll be surrounded by women who just get it. And I'm talking about the phenomenal coaches that we have lined up, our volunteer staff. It's small because we want it to be intimate, but we have people who will be moving your dinner plates, who will be moving your teacups. Like, you're not even going to be allowed to do anything that's a part of your normal routine, because we want to serve you. No one's going to follow you into the bathroom when you want to take a pee. You have your own private bedroom, your own private bathroom. No one's going to follow you from room to room. You need a break from that constant grind. No one's going to be calling on you to do anything. We ask that you fully invest in this session. So there are going to be sessions that are going to help you to release, help you reconnect, and help you to remember your strength. But remember your strength in a way that doesn't hurt you. So you don't have to smile through it all anymore. At Restore Her, you can actually exhale. So we have created a space where healing begins, and not just from hype, but from stillness. You'll have the opportunity to be still, to hear yourself, to listen to the waves crash on the shore, to sit in the hot tub or sit in the pool, or to just be in a quiet environment, just have soothing music playing around you as you listen to this. You'll have personal chefs who are going to be making your meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you'll be well taken care of. You don't have to be strong in this environment. All you have to do is be you. So I'm going to encourage you to register. Don't overthink it at all, because your healing matters, your softness matters, and your rest matters. Now you may be saying, "Oh, DuQuesa, I know that it's $1,400 pay in full, and that's a lot of money to put on a retreat." Is it though? We will take $300 to buy a ticket to go to Florida, $400 for a hotel, $300 for a car, shopping money, eating money, and still come back with that same tiredness, that same wound that needs healing. And you've spent more than what this retreat actually costs. You'll be spending 3 solid nights in paradise, 3 nights of single occupancy accommodations, 3 nights of meal, days and nights of meals, of coaching, of clarity, of quiet. And so if you want to jump in, I'm going to encourage you to click the link, secure your spot. If you pay in full, it's $1,400. If you need a payment plan, it's $1,600, because that pay in full does have a bonus. And if you know a sister that could definitely benefit from an event like this, please encourage her by sharing this video and letting her hear all about what this is about. And let this be a moment where you really stop hiding behind your strength, because you deserve healing. You deserve restoration. You deserve rejuvenation. You deserve to be okay. And so I want to personally invite you to join us in this space at Restore Her. If you have any questions at all, just drop me a comment, or you can check out the Restore Her webpage. I'll put the link right here for you. You can check out the webpage and see all about what Restore Her is about. You can also make your payment at the bottom of that page if you want to join us and be a part of what will no doubt be a phenomenal event. And then I also want to share with you some retreats, some recommendations, no, References? No. Testimonials. I want to share with you some testimonials from women who attended the Thrive Retreat. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that link as well. We had Coach Sandy. One of the things Coach Sandy said was that it was a pleasure presenting at the retreat. It was powerful, not just for the ladies, but also for her as a coach. You know, she said usually after emotional sessions, she's drained and need time to recover. But attending the Thrive Retreat, she felt replenished immediately. She talked about the fact that, you know, everybody was armed with the tools that they needed. We have Coach Janelle talking about the transformative journey. But more than the coaches, we have testimonies from the participants. We have testimonies from Andrea talking about how the sessions on self-care, soul care, and mental health were so valuable to her. Every moment rejuvenated her mind, her body, and her spirit. The coaches were phenomenal. We have Orly over here talking about the fact that this was the first time that she was able to put herself as a priority, because as an entrepreneur, she is always going, and putting everybody else first, causing a lot of frustration. And at the retreat, she was able to just be. The retreat was well organized and it was a safe space. Then we have Julie talking about how she came into the retreat and she enjoyed the fellowship of attendees. There was a sense of calm that washed over her. And despite the fact that all of the attendees came from different backgrounds, you know, they were able to come into one common goal, a desire to create meaningful change. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that comment here for you. And then finally, I want to drop some testimonial comments, videos that you can take a look at, videos from past participants who attended the retreat, because me telling you about it is not going to be enough. Hearing about it from those who have attended or been there is going to be a whole. Go ahead and share that link with you so that you can look at some of those testimonials. This is the space that you need to be in. And I'm not going to oversell you. If this is resonating with you, then you know you need to click the link. I am not one of those coaches to try to talk you into being into a space, manipulate you into being into a space. No, I want you to come freely into a space that is going to rejuvenate you. One of the things Chara said was that God met us in this space. And so we will have God in this space with us again. He is going to be in this space with us so that we could get in touch with who we are as we rest and rejuvenate. I look forward to seeing you there. Take care. God bless.